Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of this mapping series. Today I'll be going over simple fundamentals, and what that means is I'll be going over layering, structure, rules, ideas, and timing. Simple timing for a simple song. And the reason why I'm doing this is to somewhat have a learning experience while I'm commentating over choices that I make in my mapping. I hope that you can gain some information off of what I say, and if you're ever confused, you can always ask me questions in the end of this video. With that being said, let's go right into timing. And a common way to time the beats would be to count them by their measure. So in this case, this song uses a 4x4 measure, otherwise known as common measure, because it's so common. And the example of that would be is to count the beats by 4. So let's just hear the song, for example, and try to determine where the measure may be. Now, obviously, it's pretty off, but measures, we would count them like this and this, these fat white lines. And these would just be the beats alongside this. But 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll just keep doing that. So if we go here, we'll just count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I did it a little too fast. You know, this seems appropriate, right? Normal BPM. But this is probably not going to be accurate 100% of the time, so you got to adjust it a little bit. But first, let's just find the offset. So you can listen slowly. Try to... Okay, so it's about right here. So we can go to our timing setup. Probably won't show, but there's going to be a big use current time button, and you just click on that. And it sounds okay. But is the BPM right? We don't know. So if we don't know, then we'll go later into the song and try to notice if the beat drifts. So it starts to have a little offset. We don't want the offset, but let's see. So as you can see, blue line. This is not supposed to be a blue line. It's supposed to be here. The beat has been staying the same this entire duration of 1 minute 43 seconds. So there's a problem. And you can adjust BPM, try to find it. Okay, it sounds okay. At least that's what you would think, but realistically, the offset is like right here. Or of some sort. It should be landing consistently on the line, not, above or below. Can't be doing that. So we gotta find another BPM. Wrong again. But I'm not gonna waste your time any further. The correct BPM for this would be 136. Always test out what works, what doesn't. If it doesn't work, then find out what works. And okay, now it sounds fine. Okay. Let's go into the fun part. Mapping. Woohoo, mapping. Okay. I have a timer here. It's for 30 minutes. But the goal is not to complete the map. It's just to commentate over my choices. The time might be a little lower, but that's fine. Alright, so let me just start this and start the song. So immediately I hear a simple beat. And there's a snare right here. And I want to triple that because this is higher intensity. Usually you can do this simple move. Maybe sometimes you just want to simply change the position of your notes to express a different sound. This is okay. This is using two of your hands now. This is using one, and then you can continue on with whatever choice you have. But I want to be simple. I want to express the song just how it is in my interpretation of it. So this is how it'll go. And if I wanted to add more gameplay than what's going on here. Alrighty, had to pause for a moment. Let's continue. So yeah, if I wanted more gameplay, I'll just swap this. Since a snare is here, I can easily swap out these drums. The kick, I meant. Do the same thing here. Voila. Very, very simple approach. Not too much of a fan of that, because it just looks weird. But there can be ideas for it. It's not a bad approach. But there's also additional sounds going on, which would be hi-hats. And a simple rhythm that I could come up with is this. So this is 1/4, like you can hear right here. Might actually be here too. Yeah, there's an additional sound. I might ignore it personally, but if you ever want to test ideas through rhythms or what sound is important, I'd highly recommend playtesting. Sorry, did that? Okay, playtesting. And what I would usually try to do with, like, I guess experimenting with the rhythm is something like this. This is its own rhythm, but also creating another rhythm here. And what this is doing is trying to isolate this one sound, even though it's connected to these two chords. But this is just delivering contrast already, and it might work, it might not. Right now I don't know because I haven't playtested, but this is the idea. Try to make some kind of flow, then we do it here as well. It's just one hat. So I guess we can take a look at this. It does sound different though, so let's just give that a try. It's okay. But for now, I just want to be simple. And actually, I think I will include this since it will be, different from this movement. This is just isolated, so this is fine. Okay. Might want to include here too. But this, it gets a little weird now. This is here. How am I supposed to incorporate this? I could ignore it and just say this is stronger to represent than it is to represent this or whatever. We'll give it another try. Okay. I'll try a little further on that. This is a little louder to me, so I am going to double. You don't need to do it. It's still the same idea. But obviously this is much quieter than this. And again, I'm just creating a rhythm with just this one sound, hence why this is a double. It might look a little weird because this is a double too, but sometimes you can just simply do that. It's just called intent. So again, this is my intent, just rhythm. And then I'm adding an additional movement to this rhythm since the intensity is higher. But I want to test it again. And it's fine. To me, that is fine. And if you did want to include this, you can probably weaken this chord. If you still want to do both of these, do that. But then it gets a little messy. But you're still prioritizing your ideas, so it's not a horrible move. It's okay. Maybe you can also just adjust this chord and do whatever. But what I want for now is to simplify to this one idea. I already forgot what I was doing. Oh, okay. Now that just seems to repeat. So I will copy this. Okay, this is a little different. I can go back to this, maybe. Now, usually I want to increase it, intensity here as well, but I simply cannot do that. So maybe I can go for a different movement. Or, yeah, okay. Yeah, I could do something like that, and then just do the entire pattern or structure again. Pattern, okay, structure, this means your patterns, so like, let's see. I got a jump stream pattern, a simple jump stream pattern. I love jump stream. Jump stream is so fun, so immersive. Jump stream. And also, I want to explain rules. So, this ruling would be, actually, there's two. Doubles for every red line. That's one rule. And now the second one would be two stacked notes. Two stacked notes are just stacking notes of whatever snap they are. This would be a two stack note. This would be a two stack note. You could consider this one as well, or even, two stack note here. It's two stack. Very, very simple. You can do three stack. But yeah, that is just two rules. That's what ruling is. It is usually assigned to a certain layering. Layering would be the sounds that you're layering your notes at. So snare, triple for snare. I just want to keep doing that. Triple, triple, triple for snare. Okay. Anyway, I want to test play this again. Okay. So now I think there's actually two connected. It's fine to swap your ideas around. Just test it again. Still doesn't feel quite right. Ah, okay. So I did mess up here. Might as well do the exact same movement. Still doesn't feel quite right, but I'm not going to spend time trying to correct it right now. Always make sure to test your ideas. If you feel like this could be swapped and you do that or whatever sort, you could try to do that. Especially since this is already separated anyway. Doesn't need to be connected. Just make sure that the intention is there and that's all that matters. For now, I just don't want to bother with it. Oh man. I'm just going to copy. Now, this just goes on and on. But let's just find... Oh, okay. That could work. Now, there's multiple ways to go about this. I could have this here. Let me just... I could ignore it completely if I wanted to. And express the kick instead. Now this is a little weird. So, personally, I don't want to add it for now. Probably only feels weird because there's nothing going on here. But, let's see. We can do long note or even just a simple note. That. Still feels a little weird. Okay, so I then add this, and it feels just fine, but you could, if you wanted to, keeping up a rhythm with just... Already, I have to pause again. But now back to this. Is this going through? Yes. Yeah, anyway, this is just here to keep a different rhythm. But personally, don't want it. Like I said, it just feels weird. So I'll just have this for now. Now, more is going on. So let's see how we can incorporate. This could be double. Could do that. Okay, I think I already found my idea. Maybe go back to the simple arrangement. Then we just swap placements again. Maybe do something like this. Okay. Just a simple rule, I guess. So this started becoming 3-stat because this is developed. So I'm just developing these stacks to arrange this movement. It was originally 2-stack, just a simple movement. And now we're just developing, like I said. But of course, I want to playtest. I want to make sure that actually works. It seems just fine. Anyway, as for a quick realization that I just realized, great wording, my timer was actually set for 30 hours. We're gonna be here for a long time. I'm joking. That's just a dumb mistake by me, but I can still see the minutes at least, right? Oh boy. Anyway, this could just repeat again. Again, I picked a really simple song for this. So your structure, generic, yes, that's fine. But I also just realized I still want additional gameplay. So I'm gonna do that. I might change this up a bit, or maybe not. But obviously, I want to avoid that. That's bad. It's really bad. So for now, going to going to be the same. I don't want to spend too much time. But this is a bad practice, personally. So when you're adjusting your own charts, please don't do this. Please don't. I mean, if you think it's fun, you could, not listen to me. It's fine. But again, it's just repeating gameplay. It becomes very boring. But at the same time, this song is also very boring the more you play it. It's not rememberable, so keep that in mind. You can still map it for practice and whatnot, but players, they look for entertainment and pattering or rhythm. Well, of course, you don't need to listen to me. That's just my own personal take. This is also wrong. Test it again. Of course, I've ignored the intensity increase rule, or my own rule. Don't want to really bother with it. We're just going to create a simple structure. It's the same sound, so we'll just work with that. Alright, something that sounds entertaining. Do I want to go through this? No, not really, because it is pretty hard to do something like this. Proceed to map it anyway. This could probably work out. That's just a simple transition. Now, this is going to sound a bit abstract, but what I'm doing here is using the release as a tap. Already sounds confusing. But the point is to first transition to this, because this is hold, this is just instant tap. Then the release has a different kind of tapping, which is just releasing, but the more you experiment with like transitions to these kind of sounds, the more you'll understand by playtesting why this works. You can create some cool stuff. But it's going to be hard to nail down, so make sure, you're always testing whatever, like this. Like, that could probably work. Not for me, but yeah, I'll keep at that. Practice. Okay, for this, we level long note. Yep. Now you don't need to add long note if you don't want to, but I do recommend it. If you want like contrast in your structure, but again, you can just do the same thing as you did before, or I guess as I did before, just copy from here. Oh boy. Control C, Control V, let's go. Let's just ignore the background. You could do that. It's not a wrong move, but it certainly is weird. Pretty weird. Personally, I would like to express everything that I'm mapping to full extent. And full extent doesn't mean literally place on every single snapping that it's present for. No, there is techniques, but I don't think it'll be worth going over that for now, because it is pretty hard to understand. Like, as, I don't know, Actually, no, I think I've already explained that somewhat over here. Even though it's kind of awful, but you can always test ideas here. I might come back to, actually no, we have 5 minutes. 5 whole green minutes. Okay, well let's see then. Okay, so for me, this doesn't matter anymore. I want to express this. I just like the synth. Now I can reduce the chord size here if I wanted. You know, I don't need the whoops. But yeah, I don't need that second long though if you know, I want to be boring. But yeah, this here, this could act as a note count. So long notes, you know, some people they may like keep their, you know, kick idea to double, right? So actually maybe this is better. So you know, you want to keep this double, you want to stay consistent. This, you know, there's another sound, you want to add on to it. Uh you could do that, but this is still a note count. This still acts as this for density's sake. So this is double. And I mention this because you know, people they get confused whether that's okay. And personally, I was when I started mapping too. I was just adding on to the density, and I didn't realize that Vegas a god awful gameplay because it just didn't add up to anything. There's no priority in sound. This is called just prioritizing with synth and still keeping your rhythm of the kick. The rhythm would just be your one hand movements. So yeah, I feel like that was important to mention. Anyway, this still no count. So you can consider this a triple. But you know, it's fine if you just do that. I mean, I guess you can consider it triple too. It's kinda weird, but triple quad. But yeah, you can test around with that idea a bit. But for now, this is how I'm going to format this structure. Now, obviously, this is stronger to me now, so I will change it. Okay. Now, panning. Personally, I do want to map where the sound is at. Uh, so left ear, right ear. This is definitely right ear. Okay, it does happen here. Alright, originally I was just going to put the same structure as example. So just, even though the panning would have been right, I think I can actually do this because it does swap. Luckily, thank God. But, hmm. Oh, this is on the left. There's a bit of bias here, or here, so I could shorten it still. This might be a little weird, but it should match up. There is a slight awkwardness to this though. Should we do this? One-handed movement. This is just biased towards one hand. There's clearly more happening than this, in my opinion. But you can argue that the long notes justify. But let's actually test play. Let's just, you know, make sure it is okay. It's fine. But I might just want to simplify. This could work too, or even better, if I want release to tap rhythm here. And this would also directly go towards sound panning balance. But again, this is also here, which is kind of weird to look at, but test play. It's okay. This actually does start a little lower, or no, cuts a little lower. This is happening again. Could swap over here. Okay, we'll keep it simple. I don't know if you can hear it, but it does go more towards the right. It does also have a little bounce here, but I'm going to do that. I could also just exclude it if I wanted to. And then I repeat the same structure, I assume. This just sounds the same. And exactly, it sounds the exact same, yes. Okay, I think that'll be it for this episode. Hopefully, I've explained these choices well enough as to why, balance might be a little weird in certain sounds, such as, this maybe, or this little movement, then this being, a bit heavy. But, yeah, for general tips, if you're new to mapping, brand new, I simply want you to just time some songs and mess with chord sizes through sound. Don't try to be too grand. Just try to first balance, so 3 stack, 2 stack, and then just keep it that way. Repeat here, and so on. And you can try to adjust and whatnot. Like, try to increase chord size to important sounds that, or yeah, sounds that you think are important. So with snare versus drum, which is more important to express between those, or kick? So, snare, drum, you know. But yeah, that's just one general tip. I'll also leave some extra sources in the description, such as good timing, counting the time. I'll leave wiki and some other stuff that I can't think at the top of my head right now. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed looking at this. I will also export this file so you can download and mess around with choices and have your own interpretation, create your own little difficulty, whatever. Ready. See you guys.